everybody, it's Jeff from Glastonbury and Glastonbury here with the final block of the month. I hope everybody is having a wonderful holiday season. Very excited here at the end to see all those quilts start coming together. And you can see that today's block, our final block, is called Washington Pavement. Another name for it is Tenley Town Square. Both refer to neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., and this is reminiscent of some of the pavement layouts around the area. So without further ado, let's get cutting. You'll start cutting with your tourmaline. You're going to cut that into 8 2 5/8 inch by 2 5/8 inch squares and 4 2 5/8 inch by 6 7/8 inch rectangles. Then from the accent color, which is my red here, you're going to cut 3 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch squares and 2 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 inch squares. And then finally from the background, which is my black, you're going to cut 5 2 5/8 inch by 2 5/8 inch squares. Everything on this block is on point. That's why the cutting has a lot of eighths and such. So just be careful as you're cutting, and it's going to turn out wonderful. We're going to take the accent colors that you cut, and the 3 4 1/4 inch squares you're going to cut into quarter square triangles, so you can mark those from corner to corner on both sides and cut those. And in total, from the 3 squares, you're going to end up with 12 quarter square triangles. And then from the 2 2 3/8 inch squares, you're going to cut those once to get 4 half square triangles in total. We're going to start making and sewing with the center. So you're going to take 5 background squares and 4 of your tourmaline squares and arrange them just as shown here on the screen. Then you're going to sew those rows together. I am ironing toward the background, or open if you prefer, and then you're going to sew those columns together, ironing toward the top and the bottom, and you will be left with a 9 patch for our center. Next, we're going to make our corner units, and they're going to be arranged just as shown. You're going to make 2 of the units that are shown on the top and 2 of the units that are shown on the bottom. We can go through them. The very top triangle is your half square triangle you cut from the 2 3/8 inch squares. Then you're going to have in that middle row a tourmaline square, and on the edges you have the 2 of the quarter square triangles arranged just like this. And then on the bottom, this is where it differs. 2 of them are going to be a rectangle and 2 of the quarter square triangles, and then 2 of your units are not going to have those quarter square triangles, so that when we fit it together, everything will add up really nicely. We are going to sew our rows together. Now when you do this, make sure that you match your quarter square triangles. The right angle should match the bottom of your units, your square and your rectangle units. That means you'll have a little bit of the sharp point poking out at the top, and you will sew those rows together. After that, you will sew the columns together. Now to make this easier, you can find the midpoints of your rows. So if I take that top unit and fold it in half, the middle unit and the bottom unit, I can find the middle and make a little bit of a mark. That way I can pin at that mark to make sure that those middle points match. Then once you sew those columns together, you'll be left with 2 of your top unit there and 2 of the bottom unit. Then we simply put our whole block together. So you'll start with the center 9 patch, and you're going to attach to the sides of that your 2 units that do not have the quarter square triangles in the bottom row. So the 2 units that kind of look like a pentagon there, or a home plate. You'll sew those together, and then you will sew your top and bottom unit on. And then once we've flipped that 45 degrees, you'll see our finished block, Washington Pavement. I want to thank everybody for joining me on this journey through the block of the month this year. This has been a great time. Stay posted for a new project, as well as our annual contest where you finish your projects. If you get your quilts done by April, we'll definitely have details about the contest and how you can enter to win a prize. It's been great to have you, and I hope everybody has a very happy new year.